Welcome to Scorpiosoultime. I'm Ronique, and I appreciate you joining me here on my YouTube channel. Every lunation cycle, you and I get together and we discuss what is going on up in the heavens, because as they say, as above, so below, which means everything that goes on between the aspects and the transits of the different planets in our solar system directly affect us here on Earth. So I do appreciate you joining me. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is a great environment for learning about astrology, seeing how tarot helps you in your everyday world. Many of you have come from my beginning tarot video that talks about the major arcana, so I do appreciate all of you. I do have a playlist that is all about beginning tarot. It breaks down what each card means, so I invite you to look at that in the playlist, as well as every lunation cycle, which happens about every 2 weeks. I have been doing this since April of 2019. So it's really exciting to be able to refer you back to 6 months, 18 months ago, just to be able to look through the playlist and see how these energies have affected you directly. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's get right into it, you all. Today we are talking about the new moon in Cancer, which occurs on July 9th, 2021 at 9:16 p.m. Eastern Time at 18 degrees and 1 minute. So basically you can see here the sun and the moon are sitting side by side in the sky at 18 degrees and 1 minute. And this Cancerian energy we've already been experiencing since the sun moved into Cancer back at the end of June, right around June 20th. And so we've already been feeling a lot of this Cancerian energy that deals with themes around your home, your family, your emotional side. It can also refer to your mother or motherly instincts. It can also refer to anything that has to do with your personal intuition. This is a really great time to hone those themes and bring in the energies of Cancer. And a new moon is when the sun and the moon sit next to each other in the sky. And this is a great time for new beginnings, starting, maybe planting new seeds of intention, starting new goals. If you look back to the full moon in Cancer that occurred on December 29th of 2020, look back on Scorpiosoultime in that playlist, because I want you to see if there's any themes that are reoccurring. That full moon would have been the ending of some cycles around these Cancerian themes, while this may be a brand new start for you in some kind of area of your life around Cancer. This is a really interesting time as well, because we are fully out of that Mercury that was retrograde. We had the shadow, the post shadow, then we had actual Mercury retrograde for 3 weeks in Gemini, and then we literally just came out of the shadow after. We had the pre-shadow, the actual retrograde, and now the post-shadow just ended right before this new moon in Cancer. So you may start feeling like things are opening up from a communication standpoint. Messages may be clearer that weren't clear back in the end of May and in June. You also might be having better communications around some themes around Cancer, which is your family, your home, like I said. But also remember self-care. This is a really good time for like emotional and intuitive healing. And so I invite you, if you've been struggling with anything around maybe getting healthy, not feeling your best, maybe just being worn out, and especially during that Mercury retrograde season, there was a lot of everyone just feeling like emotionally and mentally, more mentally probably than emotionally taxed, just because Gemini is an air sign and Cancer is a water sign. So there's a lot of themes around, emotions, how you care for people, how you care for maybe close family members. So keep that in mind as we go through this new moon in Cancer period. The sun and moon will also make a trine with Neptune in Pisces over here. And that's going to actually occur at 23 degrees, which could help us take some of our emotional world and make it not take everything so serious. One of the, I would say, lower vibrations of Cancer is that we tend to be over emotional, and we tend to overthink, but also get over emotional about things that maybe we wouldn't have normally gotten emotional about. So that trine to Neptune could be a very helpful energy as we go through this period. And I also want to say that as we go through this period, Venus and Mars over here in Leo are going to become conjunct within a week after this new moon. So don't be surprised if there are some themes around like female and male relationships, or just themes of they could be very harmonial, like you may meet someone during this time. It could be a very good time for relationships, but at the same time, depending on where Venus and Mars fall in your chart, it could also be a time that you need to step back from some relationships or just take a different look at things. But it also might feel more emotional due to that sun and moon, the new moon in Cancer period. So just keep that in mind as we move through these next few weeks in this new moon in Cancer. Okay, so let's get to the cards today. And before we get to the cards, actually, I want to do our singing bowl, and then I will talk about the cards. So let's move these over. And before I do that, I actually pulled the number 7 Chariot card. It is the sign of forward movement, but also like water. So you can see like this god running through the water, and there's just like this charging motion forward. And so I want you to think through, as we do today's reading, where is it in your life that you'd like to take more control over your life? Maybe you felt like things are kind of off kilter, or things haven't been like working in your favor. So keep that in mind as we read through and pull our past, present, and future tarot spread today. But the number 7 Chariot is definitely that Cancerian theme of, taking control of maybe your family, your home, maybe themes that like haven't felt like they've been quite right in the past. This could be a good energy to kind of like hone into during this Cancerian new moon. Okay, so we're gonna move that off. And as I do the singing bowl today, I want you to think through where in your life you need to clear the energies around your family, around your home life. This is going to be really important for all of us. And I like to do it to clear my energy, but it can clear yours as well. Okay, very nice. Okay, so hopefully that helped clear your energy. I know it helped clear mine. And now let's get into a past, present, and future spread. I'm using two of my favorite decks. I use the, just kind of like the traditional Rider-Waite deck that I teach in the beginning tarot playlist. And for those of you who are just learning to read tarot, I think that it's also important to not put too much emphasis on absolutely knowing every single card. I feel like tarot is also very intuitive, so use the playlist and learning the cards as more of a guide, but don't feel like you have to know every single card in order to do your first readings. The other one I use is the Modern Witch Tarot deck, which has themes of really strong women, so I really love it. Okay, so for this new moon in Cancer, let's think through where is it in our home life, our family, friends, maybe our own emotional well-being, maybe intuitive, intuition, but also where is it that you may have felt like you've been emotionally detached? Where is it that you could use just extra guidance? This new moon in Cancer is going to be a really good time for sending us messages that we could all use. So let's see what the cards have for us. Spirit, help us find answers, information, messages around these Cancerian themes, around this new moon in Cancer, how to set new intentions for ourselves, our family, our friends. I'm going to split the deck in 3. And I just heard turn over the bottom card. So we have the Empress in reverse. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, so in the past, we get the Hermit, which is the number 9 major arcana. The Empress is the number 3 major arcana. In the present, look at that. We get the Sun. That's the most positive card in the deck, so that's great to see. And in the future, we get the 6 of Wands in reverse. So this is really pretty interesting because most of the cards here we have are major arcana cards. The only one that's not major is the 6 of Wands. So already this is saying to me that this is almost like a changing point of the year. If you went back to the eclipse season videos that I have on Scorpiosoultime, you'll see that once we got to that summer equinox on June 21st, 22nd, that was really like this midpoint of the year where you're now like working on the second half of 2021. And so I can already feel like the shift has occurred. Like you can tell from just these major themes that we're now moving into the next half of the year in terms of like where our emotional well-being is, our mental well-being. And I think coming out of that like Gemini season into Cancer, like I said, is very motherly and nurturing and kind of goes back to where you were with your mother and like your relationships with your family. So I can already see like these major arcana cards are a really good sign, like things are definitely moving out of that energy that we were in at the beginning of 2021. So let's start off with the Empress. So the Empress was in reverse, but the Empress is this card of being able to birth something into existence or start something new. It is the sign of Venus, and you can see Venus down here on this heart. And so I think that's really interesting because I had just mentioned that Venus and Mars are going to be conjunct within a week after this new moon. And so I really think that there is a lot of strong energy around maybe trying to get something started, whether it's with another person, like in a relationship. But this to me, since it's the Empress, it can also just deal with you and your own power and making yourself feel good about yourself. And so I think that's where that self-care comes in, because with it in reverse, I'm almost getting this energy of you've been trying to get things, it's almost like you've been trying to practice self-care, but you just can't get the rhythm going. Do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you've tried a new health routine, but it's just not working for you. Or you've been trying to go to the gym more, but everything in your power from work to family is getting in the way. There's something that you're trying to birth into creation or be able to start something, but you haven't been able to get momentum. But I do think when that Venus and Mars conjunct next week, I think you're going to get more information to be able to turn this Empress in an upright position, to be able to get more traction, more movement to move forward. So in reverse, oh, excuse me, I meant to say in the past. In the past, we have the Hermit, who I said is, like I said, the number 9 major arcana card. And the Hermit is in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is like usually an older man who is like holding a lantern, and like around him is like he just came out of a mountain where he was like going into solitude, and he was trying to like get emotional, kind of like get right with himself before he like came back to his community to lead them into a better way. I love this rendition of the Hermit because it's still like an older woman, but you can see she has her laptop and she's kind of like looking at it like, should I just like close it up or do I need to open it? And it's almost like she's telling herself with that foot going in the other direction, like, don't worry about what other people are saying. You need to take time for yourself. It's time to close up the laptop, turn off the outside world, and focus on yourself. And I think that this is really important with this being in the past, because I feel like the first part of 2021 was really this theme of trying to just get past 2020. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone was just trying to get in this momentum of like clearing their head and start getting back into life. And so I feel like this Hermit card is almost telling us all like, it's time to focus on ourselves. And that really is that Cancerian energy of focus on yourself, focus on your emotional health, your well-being, shut the world off, close that laptop, get off of social media for a while. Like this Hermit in the past is really telling us like, it's time, in order for us to be able to like help the outside world, we first have to help ourselves. And I feel like that's what this Cancerian emotional feel good about yourself new moon in Cancer is all about. So that's good to see in the past, because that means like we're trying to move away from worrying about the outside world and focusing on ourselves. In the present, like I said, this is the most positive card of the entire tarot deck, and it is the Sun, which I love because there's always like this little child, baby, has all these sunflowers, the sun is out, and there really is this joyous, happy theme around it. And so I'm almost getting this feeling like this has to deal something with our children and our family, and us feeling good about ourselves, having fun, especially moving into Leo season at the end of July and into August. I think there's going to be definitely a more emphasis on our well-being, but also how we almost find our inner child. You know what I mean? Like this could symbolize actual children, but it can also symbolize like being able to find your inner child and have fun again. And I think a lot of us, especially, I know my family just came off of summer vacation for the 4th of July, and we took a road trip to Tennessee, and there definitely was this like renewed, almost childlike spirit of like getting out in the world again and being able to do things again. And I think that that's another portion of this new moon in Cancer is like this feeling of like your emotional well-being feeling better than when you were just focusing on yourself. And so I think that there's this theme of like, okay, you need to focus on yourself, but then put that emotional well-being into your family and into yourself and feeling like childlike again. So I think that this is a really, really positive sign moving forward. Okay, and then the Six of Wands is in reverse and it is in the future. And the Six of Wands is usually a really positive card because it is this woman on her horse. She's coming in with these wands. She's excited about life. She has just come off of like this battlefield, and her people in her community are like really cheering her on, like, job well done, you know, you really did a great job. So I'm excited to see this because it's almost like you can see here with this wreath, there's this feeling of like you've accomplished everything you could, you really did a job well done. And these people are like, we're so happy that you're here. We're so happy that you came back to, you know, our town. You really like brought it home. Hopefully you all can't hear that siren going off in the background, but I'm gonna try and continue on. So the thing is though, since this is in reverse, there is this almost like an angst towards us having, maybe we're trying to get to a point where we're seeking recognition and we're not getting it. Maybe we've been feeling really good, but with this Six of Wands, Wands has to do with fire. Fire energy would be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. So there could be either something left over from Aries season, or this could mean, since this is the future card, this may be something you're trying to get recognition for in Leo season. I just spoke about Leo season a few minutes ago, and so it'll be interesting to see, because remember, Leo also is the Sun card. So it would be interesting to see if this energy of like playfulness and just trying to like get ourselves in a happier place than we've been in the past. There is almost like this sense of something that you were hoping you would get recognized for. Maybe you haven't yet, and maybe it's coming in Leo season in August. But there also could be like this sense of like, you feel like you deserve something, but it hasn't fruitioned yet. That's kind of what I'm feeling like. So I'm going to use my Rider-Waite deck and do some clarifying cards just to see what this energy is about in terms of that Six of Wands, because for the most part, this is like a really positive time for this new moon in Cancer. Like I can really see how this looks like a positive energy. It's just almost like we have to figure out what is it that we're trying to almost self-nurture ourselves from, like being almost isolated into more of a happy place. But then that Six of Wands is kind of interesting. So let's kind of see where that came from. And I like to do the clarifying cards because I feel like when you're trying to connect with your like spirit guides and higher energy, it's very easy to just like, okay, the sun means things are going to be happy. But depending on the next card you choose will kind of help steer you into, okay, well, where is that happiness going to be? And like, is it going to be in a certain part of my life? Does it involve a certain person? So I just like to do the clarifier cards because I think that also helps get yourself more information. So that just flipped out. So there is the Seven of Swords in reverse. Glad to see it in reverse. That usually means someone is either holding something from you, trying to steal something from you. That could be something from the past. I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to leave it up here with the Empress. It is good to see it in reverse. And look at that. Did y'all just see the sun? It literally just flipped out. So very interesting to see that repeated card. It is in reverse though, which is kind of interesting. So it's almost like, this to me means you can either make the most of a situation, or maybe you're not making the most of a situation. Like, you could be happy about it, but you could be looking at the glass half empty and not realizing how good you have it. So I'm really happy to see those two suns though, because even if you get a sun in reverse, sometimes it just means that there is more of a weight than, you know, maybe it's not going to fruition at this very moment. Maybe you have a whole lunation cycle to wait, but still good to see it. Thank you, Spirit. Oop, that one almost turned but didn't. So Spirit, please give us guidance on the Hermit, the Sun, and the Six of Wands. I'm gonna split the deck in 3. All right, so for the Hermit in the past, we have the 7 of Coins, or the 7 of Pentacles for the Hermit clarifier. Then for the Sun cards, we have the 8 of Cups, so moving away from something emotionally. I think that's really interesting, because there must be something in your life that is causing you some discomfort, and it's time to move away so that you can be happy. And in the future, we have the Ace of Wands. So I'm really glad to see that Ace of Wands upright, because that means that this recognition, see Wands and Wands, that recognition that you were seeking, it's on its way, because the universe is handing you this opportunity. You just might not feel it yet, because either maybe you have some competition, maybe you're going for a job interview, but there's something here that is like definitely some positive energy around getting right with yourself and not worrying about someone else trying to maybe steal your thunder, trying to compete with you. Because these Sun cards show you're going to be moving away from something emotionally that you were worried about in the past. So in the past, that Hermit card with the 7 of Pentacles, I'm almost feeling like you were planting seeds of intention, trying to get a job, trying to get more money, trying to figure out how to get your resources right. You were maybe doing this on your own without nobody helping you. You wanted to plant your seeds maybe secretly. Maybe you have a job that you don't like now, and you've been trying to put out resumes, put out feelers in the past. And I feel like that is going to pay off, because those 2 Sun cards, like I said, are showing something really happy that's going to go on. But you have to figure out when it's time to move on from like any emotional baggage that may come along with either leaving a job, going towards a job, maybe something dealing with the Cancerian themes of home. This might be you needing to move to a different place. This could be you trying to find happiness somewhere else emotionally. I mean, it might not be physically, because the 8 of Cups with the man or person moving off into the night is also could be something is hidden emotionally from other people, or you could be just trying to figure it out yourself. But this is really positive, because the 2 suns that came out, that's positive energy is coming, but you have to figure out when you need to either leave a situation or emotionally move on from something that's no longer serving you. But it also could mean that there was some kind of job or something that you didn't want to tell anybody, and now you're emotionally ready to like tell your boss, tell your colleagues that you're going to be moving on. But with this Six of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Wands upright, there's some kind of congratulatory information that's on its way. This could be, like I said, you finding a job, you actually just now finding out that you got a job. Maybe you've been interviewing, but this also could mean, when I was talking about there is something you're hoping to get recognition for, this could be you finally getting that recognition. This could be like your boss, a colleague, could be even a family member coming to say, you know what, you were right about that. I want to, you know, apologize. This could be an apology, because it almost feels like somebody like stole something from you, whether it was information with those swords. It could be an air sign, an Aries, a Libra, or an Aquarius possibly was trying to take something from you. But with this 7 and this 7, it's almost like I see 6, 7, 8. So 6 of Wands, 7 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. So there's a progression here. There's a progression from you trying to like work on yourself, but someone's maybe been trying to sabotage it, and you have been like going into kind of like hermit mode to be able to overcome something, and you're trying to either get a new job, get yourself right, so that you can get to this place where you are happy and you can move away emotionally, and someone is going to offer you something. It might not be a job, but it may be something that you've been waiting for from a recognition standpoint. And I think this might happen in Leo season when we have this fire energy again. But I think that, you know, overall, guys, this Cancer new moon looks really positive. It looks like, you know, you're definitely moving across a progression from feeling kind of like so isolated. And to me, once we get to the 6 of Wands, that really is a positive, like, even though it's in reverse, it's almost like it might not come at the time you're thinking, but it is on the way, and you're getting also blessings that maybe you didn't even think about before. Because that Hermit to me was like, you were like, you took some time for yourself, or you need to take some time for yourself to be able to move through this cycle. So I think that this is going to be a great new moon. I think for all of us, it'll be interesting to see how these sun cards play out in each of our lives, and how we can turn this Empress around, because I think that that Venus and Mars conjunction next week is going to be really potent for a lot of us, and it might help us get more clear on relationships, how we deal with, you know, masculine and feminine themes in our life. So I think it's going to be really positive, and I look forward to seeing you all next time on Scorpio Soul Time. Like I said, if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, I would appreciate if you did, and I will see you all next time on Scorpio Soul Time. Bye.